Welcome, hello, and I will do a very special affirmative prayer. We call it spiritual mind treatment, and so if you'd like to close your eyes, that would be great, or just keep looking at my gorgeous outfit, that's fine. Because this word is being spoken for each one. And if there's anyone or any place or situation or group of people on the planet that you would like to have included, just think of their name now and know that the infinite mind knows what you mean, and they are included. There is something that, for its own reason, is creating this universe and everything in it. So whatever that something or someone is, it cares about what it's creating because it has done a lot to create what is here and now. This something is infinitely intelligent. It knows how to create something with immaculate detail. And it knows how to create an environment where everything that is created may peacefully, harmoniously coexist. And that which has created all this is still present, creating the next form of all that is. Call it God or a universal loving presence. Whatever this is, it does love. And so the truth is, each one is created because someone, something loves them specifically. Each one is fully and completely loved. Loved beyond any human ability to comprehend. Because every fine detail of each one, in whether it be body or world situation, every single detail is crafted with care. And everything that is anyone's world is created in a way so that everything is in harmony with everything else. That there is some mind that knows how to create an expression of life that has freedom of choice. And no matter what one chooses, the environment around them corresponds and agrees and supports those choices. And so this day, each one is aware of this infinitely loving presence that is always loving each one completely and thoroughly. Each one accepts this love, accepts that he or she or they is loved completely, cared about, that there is something that's taking care of all the details as well as taking care of the big picture and everything in between. And what is taking care of all this is an infinite intelligence. And so that which is far beyond the brightest intelligent human mind is wholly and completely paying attention to each one and creating everything good, harmonious, beautiful, true. Everything that a loving presence could possibly think of to create for each one is what it is doing. And this day, this moment, each one accepts the gift. Each one lets him or herself be loved. Each one lets him or herself feel this love, the love within. And each one is so filled with this love within that it spills through and out and extends to the whole world, so that each one is a channel of the flow of this infinite love. And each one is able to choose that direction that this love is extended toward. Each one chooses now where they want this love to flow, to allow that love to flow in, through, and as their own body, and in their home, their transportation, their technological devices, to allow this love to flow through each one into every single relationship, and to allow that love to flow into the financial experience of each one, so that everything in each one's world, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, as well as in all relationships, in all financials, in all interactions, in all activities, each one is allowing love to flow. And what love does in its flowing is create harmonious, happy experiences and expressions. Love always makes sure that everything operates in perfect right order and in divine right action. Love always makes sure that each one is always in the right place at the right time, saying the right thing, doing the right thing with the right people for the highest and greatest expression of love and of the all good to occur. So each one, in accepting being loved by that universal loving presence, each one knows that he or she is always guided, guarded, and protected. Always in that place, in relationship with everything else, where he or she may experience the highest and greatest good possible in each and every moment. And this love, never being satisfied with that which was created, is always creating more love and more good, and harmoniously, easily, gracefully, peacefully guiding each one into that next moment of greater good, accepting it. This is what love does. Love can be trusted. Divine love can be trusted. And anything that might have been experienced in human love that was untrustworthy is now erased, vanished, because each one realizes it has nothing to do with divine love. Divine love is enough. Divine love can be trusted. Each one can trust their very life with this love, because it's this love that has created each one's expression of life. And so, in a greater, deeper, more complete way than ever before, each one is allowing the flow of this love to be felt by themselves, to be accepted, and to allow its activity, harmonizing everything in his or her world, so that each one is the beloved one. Each one is the chosen one, the blessed one, the favored one, because that infinite loving presence can and does love each one that much. There's no limit to that infinite love. And whatever limitations anyone has placed on receiving this love is now erased, evaporated, so that the infinite love that is always there is experienced in a greater, larger, fuller, happier, healthier, wealthier, more harmonious way than ever before. And this is the way it's normal to be. The normal state of human experience of the divine. And from this normal state, anything and everything beyond it is possible. I am grateful that this is the truth. And so I take this moment now, thanking that giver of life expression itself for all this good and more, and trusting it with this word of truth. So I release it, knowing it is done, and it is done. And I don't have to say anything more. And so it is.
So it is.
And that's the way it is.
Well, thank you, Dr. Karen, for a wonderful treatment this morning. We're so glad to welcome Dr. Karen back as a guest speaker this week. So all of you, welcome to CSL Princeton. We are I just forgot the words. Oh my goodness, I say it every day. We are a loving, healing, inclusive community that teaches and practices the principles of science of mind for the well-being and spiritual growth of ourselves and the world. We welcome you all here. So we have Dr. Karen with us this week. Next week, Reverend Rich will be here, and he will be leading the service. He is not here today, so we do not have any music, but it is all good, and we will go on without music today. And then the following week, Dr. Karen will be back again as our guest speaker. So we are looking forward to all of that. For those of you who tune in on Facebook, you may see that this morning we're a little bit earlier. We've been starting at 10:30 with our live streaming, because we've sort of switched things up a little bit since the beginning of the year. So if you tune in and we're not here yet, come back at 10:30. Right, we're there. Susan Neat is teaching class from out of CSL Morristown. What's the name of the class again?
Change your thinking, change your life.
Change your thinking, change your life. It is a drop-in class, so if you'd like to drop in, you can find that on the CSL Morristown Facebook page, and you can drop in there. And so I just welcome everybody this morning. I'm glad, and I'm going to turn it over to our POD today, Stephanie Watner.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's so nice to be with you all. I'm Stephanie Lochner. I am a practitioner here at Center for Spiritual Living Princeton, and I am so happy to be here. I'm also happy to be talking on this particular day because this week there's a holiday coming up.
Ooh.
What holiday is coming up this week?
Valentine's
Day! I know today is technically a holiday too, but I don't do the sports, so it's not important to me. Sorry, that's very sensitive. I just hope everyone has fun. I don't know. I'm happy with whoever wins. I hope everyone has fun. But this week is all about love, and well, I just love love. And it started since I was little because we celebrated Valentine's Day growing up. And my mom really instilled in us the importance and the value of love. And not just romantic love, but like real love, like divine love, like the love of God, and the love that we have with each other. And growing up in youth group, we used to talk also about the importance of having healthy relationships, and like how do you know if it's a healthy relationship? And in many wedding and marriage ceremonies, they use 1 Corinthians. And so I've been looking back at 1 Corinthians again, because in youth group, they talked about filling in instead of love is, putting that person's name there. And so I thought a lot about that as we're thinking about each other, and is this a healthy, good relationship? How are we growing together? Are we achieving those things, and what love is? Are we being that love with each other? And then I thought even more about not just with each other, but am I that with myself? Am I that with myself? Because sometimes, for me at least, it's much easier for me to be that love to somebody else. But then when it comes to me, I feel like maybe I used up that love for everyone else and I don't know what's left. But that's not true. It's infinite, isn't it? So I'm going to read 1 Corinthians. And instead of saying love is, we're going to say I am those things. So let's see in your mind, if you'd like to close your eyes and think, and just notice as I'm reading this, how does this feel? Does this feel like, oh yeah, I am those things? Does it feel like unsettling, like that's hard? Just notice what comes up as we read this. Okay, so this is 1 Corinthians. I am kind and patient, never jealous, boastful, proud, or rude with myself. I'm not selfish or quick-tempered with myself. I don't keep record of wrongdoings of myself. I rejoice in the truth. I am always supportive, loyal, hopeful, and trusting with myself. And we'll end with love never fails. Therefore, I never fail. So just notice how that landed with you right now. And staying in this place right now, if you want, you can place your hands over your heart and just settle in here. We're going to do a little mindfulness practice. So you may have heard this one before, and we often send kind wishes to others, but today we're going to start with sending them to ourselves. So may I be happy. You're going to keep that in your own mind. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe. May I know peace. can imagine sending these kind wishes to ourselves. You might even imagine that loving energy that is coming from the divine and then pouring out through you. And then imagine it circling all around you. Imagine being that love, not just for others, but in this moment right here for ourselves. If you can think of one thing right now about yourself that you can love and send extra love to, maybe a quality of yourself, maybe something recently that you did, an interaction, and just acknowledge that right here, right now, we are each the love, God's love, in, as, and through us. And so I'll say spiritual mind treatment for us. And this word is being spoken for each one here. There is one life, one love, and that love is God. And God lives, moves, and breathes through each one of us, right here, right now. Therefore, each one of us is the love of God. Each one of us is deserving of love. Each one of us is that love. Each one of us is created perfectly in God's likeness and image. Each one here is feeling, knowing, and expressing the love of God. Each one here is worthy and deserving of love. And each one here is a perfect expression of each one's true self, in, as, and through God at this very moment. And anywhere where anyone feels unworthy, undeserving, unlovable, not good enough, or any negative quality that is not the truth, it is erased immediately with this word and is replaced with the love of God. And I am so grateful for this truth. I release this word to God's loving law, and so it is.
So it is.
And now, Reverend Karen.
All right. So it's good to be back with all of you again. And I'm very excited about this day because Valentine's Day is Wednesday, and it's also the beginning of what Christians recognize as Lent. And for those of you who've been around me for the past 11 years, every Lent I have done a spiritual practice I call Tesserakonta. It's a Greek word that means 40. And somewhere I read on the internet that that's what Lent was originally called. So I just grabbed that name because I don't want it to be a Lenten practice, as in I give up eating chocolate. Although if you want to do that, that's fine too, right? But I wanted to create a spiritual practice of 40 days practicing something. And it's been great fun for me to do it. And we're doing it again. I'm doing it again. And you're invited to join me, whether it's you're actually sign up to participate or just practice it yourself. The talk title today is a challenge, Speak No Evil. And I invite you to consider, instead of speak, maybe post no evil. So speak and write no evil, however that looks to you. And because I've been preparing it for a few weeks, I've been trying to live this challenge myself, and I'm surprised at how much my human personality wants to say something or post something to the contrary. I went to the Share Show yesterday, which was just fabulous, and afterwards we're talking about what we loved and everything, and I just had to say that this one actor, that I didn't like his hairpiece. I mean, I had to say it. And because it was really bothering me every time he came on. It just didn't work. And here's this fabulous, fabulous show with everything to admire about it. And I'm irritated by a wig. And I had to say it. And And so we were having dinner afterwards, my girlfriends and and I finally got to say it. I said it. And then someone else, good friend of mine, who never speaks evil, and she's not even in our teaching, said, "Oh, but the show was so good." And she turned the whole conversation to all that was wonderful about it again, even though the rest of us probably would have gone down that little hole I had begun to dig of evil. So speak no evil. The definition of evil here is whatever you yourself do not want to experience. That's the definition of evil. So you don't have to worry about anybody else's bad. Whatever you yourself do not want to experience, that is evil to you. And some reason for that is this. Ernest Holmes in Richer Living with Ernest Holmes and Raymond Charles Barker, January 1st, says, light can have no union with darkness. And so evil has no affinity with good. If what we are wanting for ourselves personally is good, then anything unlike the good that we want for ourselves doesn't fit. So, who invites it in? With the hypothesis that perhaps we are the ones who invite it in, this particular 40-day challenge is about, I'm not going to invite it in anymore. And then let's see what happens. So the world can still be whatever, our loved ones can still be whatever, the situation in your life can be all whatever, that's okay. And because we're human and we love ourselves with compassion, thank you very much, Stephanie, for that guidance there, with patience and with no selfishness, which that really made me think. How do I be selfish and not love myself? Anyway, think about that. So what if I was no longer participating in inviting the not good into my life and realizing whatever you post and whatever comes out of your mouth is inviting what you say into your good? So what if we just stopped it? What might happen? It's an experiment. What might happen? But according to great New Thought leaders of the past, Emma Curtis Hopkins goes on and on for chapters talking about some young man who was very, very unhealthy and very impoverished, blah, 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 and he decided to be happy and to just be happy all the time. And his whole life changed, and he became such a consciousness of happiness that people who came near him started getting healed. And all he did was start being happy. So, that was done a long time ago. So that's right, we can't do that now with all of our sophistication. But what if I just stopped posting the negative? What if I just didn't have to say I didn't like the guy's wig? Did I have to say it? Was it the all good in me saying it? I enjoyed saying it. But do I want everybody out there right now going, what the hell's going wrong with her hair? No. Do I want to look in the mirror going, bad hair day? But when we are in this particular teaching, we realize oneness. Oneness. And we don't have to worry about everyone else being one with us. What we need to wonder and concern ourselves with is ourselves being one with ourselves. And so if we are desiring to improve the quality of our lives, and if we are desiring to experience more good, then we've got to cooperate with our own choice. And the habit of criticizing, being critical, judgmental, needing to say it, is acting as a blockage. It's as if you've put a log or a board or a dam, depending on how much you do it, that's blocking the flow of good toward you. That's what we teach, right? What goes around comes around. And so it doesn't matter that I'm talking about the wig of some total stranger who I'll never meet, never see again. The oneness that I am hears my words and returns it to me. Doesn't give it to him because he's got his own words that he's speaking, his own good that he is seeking. I don't know what that's like. I don't know what that's about. We're only concerned with what's coming back to us. So we want to become, first of all, aware of what we're saying. And I think we can. Sometimes it's not easy to become aware of what you're saying, but we can become aware of what we're posting. Can't we? There it is. Returning to us. Like a year later, it'll come back going, a year ago, you posted this. And you're like, oh my gosh, whatever. But it's written in stone, even if it's on the virtual world, when we put it out there. And don't we get the most wonderful, snide, funny little memes out there that we just want to share? Because it's just so funny. It made you laugh. And that's the way it is. And we want our friends to laugh with us. And we want to get more likes to our posts. And we know that people will really like this post. And we're one with everyone. I was one with 4 of my girlfriends last night, but I wasn't one with the one who would speak no evil. And when she spoke the good, we all joined her. She didn't join me. We all joined her. So, this morning on my way here, I stopped at the local coffee place to get a cup of coffee and was having a wonderful time inside. And when I came out the door, this giant, strong dog was sitting there looking at me. I mean, as far away from me, I'm like, there's the door, and closer than the video recording device was this dog. And he was on a leash with his owner, but it was a dog that was probably close to my own weight and looking at me. And it could have, if it wanted to, leapt up and gotten me. And I'm thinking, why is this guy standing there, like he's leaning against the store, and his dog's leash is just laying there, loose, which in my mind is he can leap. And I'm like, don't make eye contact, don't make eye contact, don't make eye contact. I'm trying to be friendly to the guy, and I'm like, getting off the sidewalk, trying to walk between the car and the sidewalk along the curb there, going, yes, I know about not making eye contact. That's great. Have a nice day. And he's like, he's smiling. He's very friendly, whatever. And I'm like, what the hell? So I get in my car and I drive away. And as I'm driving out of the way, I notice someone else come up to these two. And he gets down, his face right into the dog, looking it right in the eye, and goes, like this. And the dog, like it's a golden retriever, which it's not, right, gets down all the way and its tail is wagging. It's like, it's this dog that I know they train for things, and there it is, like a puppy, and this guy's, and I thought, well, speak no evil, right? I didn't speak any evil, but you know what I was thinking. The same dog, the same situation, a different consciousness coming up, and who sees only love and got love in return. And what did I see? I saw probably the guy with the wig, right? He comes back to you in some way, right? I called it upon me. And so I saw fear and I saw bad in something that was a loving presence. I could not see that love. Why? Because I excluded myself from that love the day before. As if that's the only time I said anything negative, right? I'm trying to make it easy for you, right? But you take the shower, you look in the mirror. Did I see love? So we want to become aware of how we actively repulse our good by speaking and posting. And just become aware of it, because what we're not aware of, we cannot change. If you're totally clueless that your words, if you're totally clueless that you have a choice as to what words to use, then you can't alter the words that you use. And I know before I came into this teaching, I thought I had no choice, that whatever flew out of my mouth was appropriate. It didn't cross my mind that I have a choice. I knew I could choose the words, but I didn't know that there would be personal consequences to my choices. I was thinking about the consequences on who I said it to. So I remember before I got into this teaching, choosing my words carefully because I wanted a particular result from whoever I said it to. Just like yesterday with my friends, I wanted them all to laugh. I wanted them to agree. This guy needs a new wig. Let's, do a fundraiser for him and get him a new wig for the show. That's what my unconscious, unthinking, override, rote kind of personality thing that does. It was a choice. I want you all to agree with me, but I really want to talk about this. It really bothered me, and I wanted agreement on that. And thank God for the intervention, because do I want all of the blockage that the subsequent conversation would have created in my world? So all my friends are agreeing with me. Let's say she shut up over there. And we all really got into it because there were other things that other people didn't like. And I would have agreed with them and then we would have been, maybe we would have had 10 minutes of analyzing the production, which was really good. Just the way it was. It needed no changes. It was a wonderful experience. How would we have felt? And this is something else interesting that I've noticed about myself. There's a certain type of critical comment that I enjoy making. I actually feel powerful upon making it. Like I'm a critic, like I'm a theater critic or something. And it feels good to analyze and judge and evaluate something as, well, this was really good. It could have been improved this way, da-da-da-da. And so I actually admit, there's times when I indulge in that, when I feel good about myself. My ego. I get a little puffed up. I'm proud of myself. Yeah. I know something. I'm an expert. But even that blocks the flow of some good to me. Is God a critic? It created the platypus, right? I can make some suggestions. But so whether you want to be a critic or not, obviously I can see some value in that. Oh, I'm just helping people improve. Is that my God-given job? Is that my God-given job? And, okay, say you are given that as your God-given job. It doesn't change that the law of God will create for you what you say. And so all of a sudden that job is not so great. What do you mean? My job is to speak words of criticism, which will then come and block my own personal good. Thanks a lot, God. There is no such job, thank God. Thank you, God, right? But right? When we think that's our job, it makes no sense, because that which is loving and is creating us and is ready to bring us good will withhold that good if we say no to it, in whatever way that no comes out of us. So this is a real challenge because, as many of you may be aware, in the United States, right, we've got an election coming up. There's no difference. There's no difference. The wonderful little things that people have created that you can share on Facebook, or before Facebook, we used to send it all via email, right? You would just send it off to everybody, cute little stories, whatever. But there is no difference. Yes, you may have a very strong opinion about who you would like to vote for. Is it necessary for you to speak badly or critically of the opponent of who your favorite is? Is it good for you personally to post something like that, knowing it's going to come back to you? It doesn't affect that so-and-so. Depending upon your so-and-so, I think any candidate running for office has figured out how to deal with criticism, which should be ignore it. Okay? So if they're unaffected by whatever it is that you post, why are you posting it? If it's only going to affect you. So this self-love that Stephanie was talking about, we want to become aware of these acts of personal sabotage that we do for human reasons that might not be serving us in the big picture. Like I said, I enjoy sometimes getting into it. I enjoy the feeling I'm having while I'm in that kind of conversation. I like laughing in this very intelligent, sophisticated way, and being with my friends who agree with me. We're all together, and we're all sailing in the same boat, and we're all having a good time, and none of us realizes it's sinking. And so this season, what we want to do, if you so choose, is just be aware. Be aware. Don't beat yourself up if you just had to post it. I mean, here I've been trying for 3 weeks to practice what I'm now preaching. And I still had to say it, like yesterday about the wig. I had to say it. And it wasn't unconscious either. Everything in me was saying, Karen, don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Okay, I won't say it. But see, not saying it is a moment-to-moment thing. It's like food, right? Like that cookie. I'm not eating it. I'm not eating it. I'm not eating it. I'm not eating it. Oh, now I ate it. It's like it's infinite not eating it. How can you keep making that choice infinitely to not eat the cookie when it's sitting there? So that's how it felt to me. Don't say it, don't say it, don't say it, don't say it. Okay, I'm not going to say it. Took a bite of something to eat and it came out of my mouth. And it felt good. So we want to be aware of these things that flow out of our mouths or posts or whatever. And we want to be aware if it feels good. Because we're going to do it more, right? If it feels good, why not? You know, I had a good time at the party. We all really got into it. And we just had a great time, ripping to shreds, whatever. I mean, it's conversation. It's being with people. It's social. We want to be aware how much we enjoy it. And then we want to take a step back going, but the law is still the law. And it doesn't care how much we enjoyed our conversation. It's listening to the words that come out of our mouth and creating those words for us. this is how we can know the law, we can use the law, and simultaneously misuse the law. Because it felt good, right? Anybody else know what I'm talking about? Am I the only one here?
Of course.
Who likes that?
I don't know what they're talking about.
So we want to just be aware. And then we can choose. But again, as Stephanie said, with self-love and forgiveness and kindness and compassion, forgive ourselves, even though, Karen, will I ever do that again? Karen knows. That sometimes the call is just too strong. However, I'm more and more aware of it. More and more aware of it. And if there's one time I can resist sharing the post or speaking the word, there will be that much more of an opening for good to come to me. And that's what we're going to be looking for. Is not, am I perfect, and now he's speaking perfectly like that happy guy a century ago who would be walking around and people would be healed. Well, when I think about my girlfriend last night, who said, but the show is so great, and I love this, and I love this. She healed us all from the evil that we all were entertaining. She did, through her speech, through what she said. I wish I was that one. Frequently, I'm in a group where I wish I was that one, right? But I can be blessed and benefited by that one who reminded me and helped us all to move past that and on and beyond. And I still had to hold my tongue the rest of that meal. I'll tell you that much, because more was coming to me. Shut up. So we want to be aware that not just of the words and the posts that we do, but we want to be really aware that it returns to us. And so I said what I said yesterday, and I was afraid of the dog this morning. How is that linked? Oneness is how it's linked. I said something critical and something fearful, something bad was what I experienced. That, as far as I can recall, if that was the cause that would block my good in some way, then it showed up with that dog, which I could also have gone, and I would have loved doing that, because I love dogs, I love animals, but it was big and had a big mouth. And but maybe I wouldn't have seen that if I hadn't said what I said the day before. So it's not like when we block our good with a critical remark that it's you guys all hate my hair, or I hate my hair today, or I get a bad haircut. It's not that direct. We're one. It's just in some way our good is blocked. Maybe our check is lost in the mail. Maybe our laptop does something wacky. Maybe we wake up in a bad mood. Maybe your toe hurts. It's not linear or logical in human thinking how it gets returned to us. But returned to us it is. And that's what we want to be aware of. So does this make sense what I'm saying here?
Yes.
Okay, I know. Ernest Holmes says, here's the solution. So if you've got nothing else, okay, the only thing you're going to do for the next 2 weeks is be aware. When the negative stuff, and if this is really beyond you and you post on Facebook, be aware when you share something negative, however funny it may be, on Facebook. And please don't look at my own posts. Because I'm human too, right? So we're just going to be aware of what comes out of us, written, maybe your words, and then be aware it will return to you. And sit with that and see what happens. Right? And then Ernest Holmes and Raymond Charles Barker gave us a little resolution. It was January 1st that they put this in here. How about this? I am resolved today to see the good in everyone and in every event. I shall call upon the good and shall refuse to accept that anything other than good can come into my experience. In this way, I will be praying to the good through meditating upon it. So we could change this a little. I shall call upon the good and shall refuse to call upon anything else. Knowing is a call. I hate this practice. So with the Lenten practice, Tesseracanto practice, I'm using Reverend Lloyd Strom's, he calls it My God Talk Project. And I got a copy of this years ago. And it was told to me, again, it's hearsay, so what do I know, that Reverend Lloyd, who created this sacred covenant and was living it, would say, I'm lucky if I can get through an hour in a day meeting this covenant. And what he says in it, to always speak life into my life and into the lives of others, as in good. And then to refuse to accuse the world or any other person of ignorance or wrongdoing. And I add to it, to refuse to accuse myself, the world, or any other person of innocence, ignorance, foolishness, or wrongdoing. In other words, he says, time to stop talking. To always remember to speak words of praise if ever I'm tempted to criticize, condemn, or complain about others. So that's the spiritual practice that I personally am aspiring to and have been for the past few weeks. So you already know how well I've done with that. But even though I said what I said, I get up and I'll try again. Because every word of condemnation that I do not speak allows more love, more good to flow into my life. And that I want, right? So having said all that, let's take a moment and absorb it. I'm bringing Stephanie back up, who will lead us in our offering practice, and then I'll come back and do another affirmative prayer spiritual practice for us. So go for it.
Thank you, Reverend Karen. And so we know that the words we speak, that comes back to us, and also in the law of circulation, so does what we give comes back to us. So we do not give because God needs the gifts, but because the giving increases, broadens, and deepens the life of the giver. Nor shall we give from the standpoint of duty. The universe refuses to bargain with us. It already has given us everything it has. But it also has provided that the gift of life can be received in its fullness, only as it flows through us to the fullness of others. The Law of Giving and Receiving by Deepak Chopra. I will make a commitment to keep wealth circulating in my life by giving and receiving life's most precious gifts, the gifts of caring, affection, appreciation, and love. Each time I meet someone, I will silently wish them happiness, joy, and laughter. And so now if you are at home, I invite you also to consider giving if you'd like, looking on our website, or you can also look on our Facebook page. You can give through PayPal, and I will now pass our vote.
So we don't have Reverend Rich today. Now, of course, I'm coughing. So I invite you, as we are circulating this good through this spiritual practice of giving, say to yourself, I am all good. I am wealthy. I am rich beyond measure. I am healthy. I am happy. I am free. I enjoy my life completely. I accept more good. I share my good with the world. I love receiving and sharing the all good. I belong. I am loved. I am loving. I am valuable. I am worthwhile. And I have my own self to give. So I'll do our closing affirmative prayer, spiritual mind treatment for us, to speak and post the good we desire to experience. So this word is being spoken for each one. The all-good Creator is pure love and has infinite good to give its beloved creation, each one. All the good of the universe is lined up, ready to flow into the experience of each one. And each one is able to keep the reception of that good wide open. And each one's words and writings and postings are the doorknob to the door that can open and close to this infinite good. And each one is now deliberately, consciously, and with full awareness, knowing when the door is open and the good is zooming in to their experience. And each one is also very aware when they shut the door, even for a moment. And so each one has greater awareness about how he or she is interacting with the flow of good into their lives, and that he or she has total control over whether that good enters in or not. And with that awareness, each one is having a delightful experience, enjoying all this good that the divine is bringing to each one. I am grateful for this awareness, and I am grateful for these words of truth that I speak. And I am directing the law to listen to these words that I speak and forget anything to the contrary. So for each one, any words or writings that have been writ or spoken to the contrary are all by this word erased. Each one is set free, the doors are open, and each one is fully aware of their choice to keep those doors open. So that's the truth. And I release the word, this word that is spoken. To the law, it obeys, it is done, And we agree by saying together. And
so it is. Thank you.
And that's what I